Merry Christmas, everyone. It's rolled around again, hasn't it? Where has the year gone to? It doesn't seem 5 minutes ago since we were kind of sweltering in that heat wave back in July, but you blink and you miss it, and then suddenly, there's tinsel everywhere and, Christmas songs on the radio all the time. Anyway, happy Christmas, everyone. I hope you've all got a glass of something that's, Christmassy and full of Christmas cheer. I certainly have. And yes, that's why the live stream is earlier today than normal live streams. It's because if we waited till the usual 5 p.m. UK time, I wouldn't be making much sense by then, I don't imagine. Anyway, cheers. Let's see who we've got in the chat. And who's first in? Steve B is first in. Saying, let me put you up on the screen there, Steve. Merry Christmas, everyone. I'm typing this wearing my new Fender t-shirt that Santa has brought me. Yeah, I'm wearing a new t-shirt as well, but I can't show you it on the live stream because that would probably get the channel permanently demonetized. It has some naughty words on it. And then we've got Johnny Random and Ian Clark. There's Wilson Jones and Edwin Toonan. There's Dr. Gomez and Terry Day. Mark Kerno, Stratboy999. Stratlet's what you saying there, mate. Looks like I'll be spending it alone with the only present. I received a bottle of Johnny Walker Black Label, pot noodle on standby. I have spent 1 or 2 Christmases like that myself many years ago, mate, but you get by, don't you? And, you're never alone if you've got Johnny Walker with you. And then we got 60s Man and the Essex Cat and Anton and Phil Jones. And there's Bridget Pollock, I beg your pardon, and Big Borky and Danny Hancock. Merry humbug, chaps. Has Santa been good to you? Well, he's been pretty good to me. There's lots of drinkables in the house. Then we've got Michael Dodson, Mute That Bozo. Who else we got? Peter S. Deco Dude, Colin Falcon, Merry Shitfist and a hairy new ear to one and all. Yes, indeed. Then we've got John Ross. Did I say you already? Maybe I just did. Sean House is in. There's Anton and Rent to Kill. And who else we got? We've got David Evans. And, Sean House is asking a question here. Is there a reason why the guitar in the hands of your cartoon self is a Telecaster Custom, possibly deluxe? Not absolutely sure what's going on at the bridge. Yeah, the cartoon, the little caricature of me, was done by a chap called Peter Shields, I believe. Was it Peter Shields? Anyway, he goes by Axe Caricaturist, and he just sent me that caricature of me. He said, do with it what you will. And I think he did one for Dave Simpson as well, but I don't think Dave Simpson uses his. I use mine because it's just such a good likeness, really. And he drew me playing that Telecaster style guitar, and it does make me think maybe I should get that kind of guitar. Maybe I should. Anyway, who else we got in? We've got Ben Allmark and Charlie Buttocks and Chris Otterwell and is that Delius and the BSP3? Fair enough, mate. I'm sure that name signifies something to someone. But there's Robert Bald and Craig is it Patterson or Peterson? Peterson, not sure. RF is in source, Chip Young, and we've got Mark Greening, Peter Nicholson, Johnny H, Irish Stew, Martin Scholes, Kyle Moran, and Peter Collins, and Graham Tucker, and Reloader. There's Marvellous Bloke, Dave Banks, and who else we got? James Falconer, Michael Cole, Steve Echoes guitar, and Scally 1969. That's a good point there. Hello, everyone. John, any chance of a video on how you listen to a new solo and work it out by ear, please? Well, I kind of danced around that topic a little bit. Was it last week? It all seems such a long time ago now. in the video I did on intervals, learning to recognize intervals, how learning to be able to tell when you hear one note and then you hear another note, how far apart they are in terms of semitones, and and then all you got to really do is figure out the first note, and then you can kind of hear, okay, that next one is this many semitones above, and that one's that many semitones below. It's just learning to recognize intervals, really, and then you start kind of finding those notes on the neck, and you think, well, yeah, they make sense, and they're easy to kind of play on this part of the neck, but on that part of the neck, it feels a bit awkward. So you start getting an idea of where notes are in relation to each other. So, as I said, when I was doing the kind of describing what we'll be doing today, when I was mentioning this stream, I think in last week's live stream, I said we'd all be comparing notes on what Santa has brought us. So how about you put a comment in the chat, the best present that Santa has brought you, and maybe if you're brave enough, the thing that you ripped the wrapping paper off and you thought, oh great, oh fine, yeah, marvelous. Yeah, we'll put that to one side. So if you've got any kind of any great presents, things that were a big surprise to you, then let us know in the chat, or things that you were thinking, well, yes, clearly that's just the I forgot the present kind of thing. Oh, thank you, Anton. Thank you. You are a gentleman, sir. Much appreciated. One or two people this year have been very, very generous. I'm not going to name them, but you know who you are. People have sent me, nice little drinking vouchers through PayPal. And whether you're watching now or whether it's too early for you because you're in a different part of the world and you're watching on catch up, well, thank you so much. I do appreciate it. As Mike from CGS always says, never solicited but always appreciated. Thank you so much. Let's have a look. Oh, Scott Guitars. Nice to see you, Dan. You got a Boss DS1, which is handy indeed. It's you can't go wrong with a Boss pedal, can you? Peter Collins, my wife got me an auto wah pedal just in the middle of rearranging my pedal board to fit it on. Oh yes, it's that's half the fun of a new pedal, isn't it? Deco Dude is saying you can recognize intervals by songs like Old MacDonald. Indeed, you can. That's the best way to do it, really, is to get well-known examples of songs that use useful intervals and kind of use them as templates, really. What we're saying here, change strangers. Merry Christmas, John. Here's to another year of guitar-related goodness. Wishing you a happy and healthy 2023. Well, thank you very much, mate. Same to you. Let's what Edwin Toon, what did you get, mate? A Lag classical nylon string guitar. Now I can practice my classical guitar skills again. Yes, that's something I don't know. I don't have a nylon string guitar. Keep thinking it's something I should have, really, but would I really use it? And who else we got? What else we got to talk about here? Chris Otterwell saying, got build yourself Ghost Drive clone. That will keep me occupied for a few hours. Yes, probably not want to be done. Probably not best to leave the soldering and the wiring until, when you're not full of Christmas cheer, mate. Oh, I see we've got Dunsi's Guitar World in. Nice to see you, mate. I'm never drinking again after last night. Yes, I must admit I had not so much last night, but the 23rd. As you can probably tell, we've got the normal kind of fold down futon kind of couch bed behind me. There is folded down into a bed at the moment, and we've got friends staying for Christmas, and they arrived on Friday, 23rd, and yes, we had a rather invigorating evening. Let's put it that way. There was the drink was flowing, and yes, going to bed that evening. That's all a bit blurry, I've got to tell you. I see we've got Dennis Flockin. Merry Christmas and happy holidays from Chicago. Well, nice to see you in, mate. I don't know what time of day it is there with you, but I hope it's the right time of day for a beer. I hope you can join us in having a bit of Christmas cheer. I got a Silver Screw DS1. Oh, nice one. Again, you can't go wrong with a pedal, can you? Craig Patterson is saying, I got the Joe Walsh Analog Alien Double Classic pedal. Not tried it out yet, though. Mute That Bozo is saying, too early? That would imply a sleep pattern of some sort. I have none. Fair enough, mate. Well, yes, the older I get, that seems to be the less sleep I need. I remember when I was a young man many, many years ago, getting up at the crack of noon was hard work sometimes, but now I'm up at 5:30 I was up at 5:30 this morning and taking the dog out for a walk in the pitch black kind of Christmas morning. I do like being out that time of day, though. It's something to behold when you see the sunrise on a morning. Rent to Kill is saying, how's Dougal doing? Dougal is absolutely doing fine. He's got a big bag full of doggy-friendly pigs in blankets that he's getting. Not all in one go. He gets them as good boy treats throughout the day, but he's energetic. Put it that way. He's energetic and mischievous, I think, is probably the best way of saying it. But there's not a day goes by. Me and the missus always say this. There's not a day goes by he doesn't make us laugh and swear. Thank you very much, mate, and Merry Christmas to you as well. Glad to have you here. 21st Century Boy, nice to see you, Ozzy. Merry Christmas. I hope you got that custom shop Les Paul you always wanted. Sadly not, mate. Sadly not. But I have got, for me, January is sort of the tax bill month. So all purchases are on hold until I see what sort of state the Robson finances are going to be in after that. But provisionally, there may be a new amp arriving. I think Edwin Toonan knows a little bit about that. Basically, Edwin's got one of those blue guitar amps that I was so impressed with that Craig loaned me, and we may be coming to some arrangement for him to sell it to me. And and other guitars that may be arriving. I am thinking about one of those. I must admit, I am thinking about one of those Epiphone 59 Les Pauls. Just out of curiosity to see what it's like. Cylon Hybrid, you took the words right out of my mouth, mate. Yes. When you're having to chase him up the stairs to get your brand new pair of slippers out of his mouth. That is an utterance that you often hear. I'm on the Carlsberg export today, but only for the live stream. If I was on this all day, then the day will be over rather quickly. It has to be said. I know a Christmas dinner to do later. So yes, we've got some kegs of Theakston's Best Bitter out in the yard, and we're tapping those, but it's they've got to stay out in the yard basically because that's the only place where it's cold enough and they're too big for the fridge. So hence why I brought a few cans of lager up for the live stream. Edwin Toonan, thank you so much. Saying thanks for all the guitar wisdom this year. Looking forward to another year of great vids. Have a great week off next week and see you back in the new year. Yes, indeed you will. Just a little bit of housekeeping while we're here. The next video that I will be, it's already made. In the next video you will be that I'll be making. It is already made. The next video you will be seeing will be, it's going to be back to business as usual on Monday, the 2nd of January. Where I have the usual solo analysis video. I usually tell you, don't I, what's coming up in the next week. So I should do that now to tell you what's coming up in the first week of the new year. So let me just have a look in my YouTube dashboard, and I can have a look and tell you what's coming up. So here we go. Let's have a look here. So yeah, going to content and okay. So Monday the 2nd of January, a solo analysis, and the video is entitled "A Solo I Butchered Many Times Back in the 90s." If you were in a kind of pub rock covers band, certainly in this part of the world in the 1990s, there was one song that pretty much every band played. It's a Robert Palmer song, and well, I'll tell you, I won't. It's Christmas. I won't tease you with cryptic clues. It's that "Bad Case of Loving You," that Robert Palmer song. So we're doing the solo from that. Then Tuesday. Now, this is going to be very useful to some of you out there on Tuesday. If your other half is constantly asking you why you need all of these guitars, well, that's what Tuesday's video is all about on Tuesday, the 3rd of January. Then a simple trick that will make or break your solos. Basically, that is the Wednesday video for that week, for the first week in January. So what that's all about is basically how to make sure that you're playing in the right key. It's something that a surprising number of people do have problems with. You know, they can play absolutely great guitar solos, but you know, it's kind of potluck as to whether they may or may not be in the right key. Then on the Thursday video, we're looking at how much difference using a strobe tuner makes over a regular kind of headstock or kind of a non-strobe tuner, because I've got myself a strobe tuner, and we're going to look and see how much of a difference it makes to how well your guitar is in tune. And so that's that week's videos, and then after that we'll be onto the Friday live streams again, and and then we're back into the normal run of things, and Christmas will be but a memory. Let's have a look. Mark Kerno is saying, likewise, John, always take the dog out at Crack Sparrow's fart. Best part of the day. It is indeed. It's, being a gentleman of a certain age, I often don't even have to set the alarm either, because I have an internal alarm called a bladder that wakes me up at about 5:30 on a morning. And, it's always a bonus if I manage to sleep through the alarm. And who else we got? 2 degrees Fahrenheit, -16, wind chill -16 Fahrenheit. Oh, dear me, that's chilly. That is, and this is an expression I never really understood, but it's an expression that my old fella always used to come out with. He was a blunt, plain-speaking Yorkshire farmer, my old fella. Maybe you can. Maybe I've inherited a bit of that. But when it was absolutely blowing a gale sideways with sleet and hailstones and freezing rain and fog and just kind of a typical summer's day in this part of the world, he would often say, "I tell you what, lad, it's a bit thin out there." So yeah, I don't understand it, but I kind of do, if you know what I mean. It's a bit thin, meaning it's inclement weather, and that sounds very much like it's a bit thin in Chicago. Michael Bellevaux is saying, your tribute is all a Les Paul you need. Indeed it is, but I've just got the kind of curious itch about those 59 Epiphone Les Pauls. And it's just one of those things that it's inevitable that I'll get my hands on one and try one out, and it's just a case of if I can get one at a decent enough price where I don't lose too much money on it when I resell it, and I can kind of more than balance that out with YouTube revenue, then there will be one coming through the door. Grandpa Joe, nice to see you, mate. Hello to John and all. Merry Christmas, everyone. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Excuse me. As you can tell, I certainly am. It's just a day for for chilling out. I've got all of the kind of stuff done for the Christmas dinner. I just really basically because we occasionally in this house we have the whole traditional kind of roast. We don't tend to do turkey, but usually a big chicken and all the trimmings and everything. But we're not doing that this year. This year I have made a batch of homemade curry, homemade chicken jalfrezi, and we shall be feasting on that later. We've got all the kind of trimmings, the poppadoms and the naan breads and all of the kind of mango chutney and all that kind of stuff. So that is going to be our Christmas dinner this year, and I cooked all of that on Friday because I just didn't want to spend Christmas Day, kind of slaving over a hot stove. Phil's singing from the same hymn sheet as me. I'm making a chicken madras. Good for you, mate. It's I just take the view that as long as your Christmas meal is a special meal, as long as it's something you really enjoy, then that's all that counts. And some years we have steak for Christmas dinner, steak and chips. Some years, as I say, we have the Christmas roast, and this year it's curry. Michael Bellivo is saying we're going Italian for dinner. Well, good for you, mate. Good for you. Let's have a look. See what else I've missed in the chat while I've been blethering away. Nige F is saying, now, should I crack open a beer or hit the red wine before practicing some more decisions? Yeah, you see, now, here's the thing. Beer is your friend. Red wine, it's well, first of all, I really have tried with wine. I tried, because when it sort of became in the late 80s and into the 90s, and kind of wine became more of a sort of thing that everybody drank rather than just posh people drinking wine, I started having a glass of wine from time to time, and I really, really did try and failed. It's just, the thing is, I think back across, throughout my career as a semi-professional drinker, that every time I've had a catastrophically bad, can't get out of bed the next day, feel like you need to take a trip to the vets for the humane kind of injection. Every time I've had a hangover like that, there has always, every time, inevitably been wine involved in some way. So now I've just learned to steer clear of it, and I just don't like the taste either. I really don't. It's like, and for me, it comes in 3 flavors: red, white, and rosé. And the red stuff makes me ill. The white stuff gives me hangovers, and I've never tried the rosé because, well, I'm not really of that persuasion. So yeah, I would go for the beer, mate. That's Nigel Jefferson, beer it is. Bought the wife a belt and a bag. She wasn't impressed, but the vacuum cleaner works great. I'm having that one, mate. I am having that one. That's a brilliant one. I tell you what I saw. It wasn't this Christmas. It was last year, I think. I was out walking the dog, and there was a guy, and he was struggling with with like a big box with a big ribbon tied on it, obviously a kind of a gift box, a big ribbon. And, the box was like, a Dyson vacuum cleaner box. I'm just thinking, I hope for your sake, mate, that is, some kind of joke. There'd better be like, buried deep somewhere in that box, a diamond pair of earrings or something, because if that is the present, you are in so much trouble. What are you saying, John? Rosé is for the other bus. You may well think that. I couldn't possibly comment. Yeah, I don't know. 21st Century Boy, Aldi's £2.50 wine was my favourite. Tells you all you need to know. Although I haven't had it for a while. I bet it's a £5 now. Yeah, I don't know. It's as I say, wine does not like me. Peter Shields, where are you, mate? Oh, Chris Otterwell likes his wine, fair enough. Peter Shields says, just come back from my mum's with a couple of her delicious homemade cakes. The dog has been well walked. My door is now shut and I'm having a comfortable time with my guitars and other indulgences. That is what a day like this is for. Do you remember when you were a kid and you used to get, well, I certainly did, you'd get absolutely pant-wettingly excited, from the moment you first started hearing Christmas music in shops, and you'd start seeing kind of Christmas adverts on TV, and the source of excitement was, the presents and the gifts and everything, because you're a kid, and it was the 70s for me, and that's when the interesting thing about 70s Christmases I'm going to tell you about in a moment, but it was all about the presents and because you were a kid. I get just as excited now, but it's the time off. It's the putting me feet up and not having anywhere to be or anything to do for, days and days on end. The way that Christmas has fallen this year, and, because it's Sunday today, isn't it? It means I have 11 days off, 11 days where I don't have to make a video or do a guitar lesson or tab out a solo. Not that I'm kind of complaining, I have the best job in the world, but I do work long hours at it, and it's just nice to have some time to just kind of do nothing, basically, just to read a book and have the old Christmas Spotify playlist on this morning. It's 1970s Christmases. That's what I meant to say. This just popped into my head, and it's sort of, when you get those kind of things where it's something that's vaguely kind of scientific that confirms something that is a gut reaction that something that you kind of know in your heart of hearts anyway. There used to be this show on British TV, and it was called Back in Time for Christmas. And what they did, they took this family, and they made them experience a typical 1920s Christmas, a typical 1930s, a 1940s, a 1950s Christmas, and so on. And when they got to a 1970s Christmas, it was kind of agreed by the whole family that this was the best Christmas of all, better than a current day Christmas when everybody's kind of locked away in their own little bubble on some kind of screen time, or whatever. You still had that kind of strong family element, but there was still enough of the modernity of what we kind of think of as a Christmas these days. That it was the perfect, kind of hybrid of old and new Christmases, and I just count myself very lucky that those were the Christmases that I grew up in experiencing as a kid. Anyway, let's see what I've missed while I've been blethering on there. As you can probably tell, unusually, I started drinking before the live stream today. So Gordo Canuck is saying there is no inappropriate time for a drink on Christmas. As soon as you're at work, the bar is open. Yes, we started the day off today with, as many of you know, I studied at a merchant navy training college in the 1980s, and there is a naval tradition called gunfire, which is tea or coffee, take your choice, laced with rum. And that's what I kicked the day off with at 5:30 this morning. And I tell you what, it doesn't have keep you warm on a cold walk with a dog. I see we've got Bottleneck Bob Bridge. Nice to see you in, mate. Let's have a look, see what else we've got. 21st Century Boy is saying, my chopper bike was the best Christmas I ever had, 1977, and ever since I've been buying guitars to make up. Good for you, mate. Let's have a look. The holiday ads probably start tomorrow. Indeed. Chris Otterwell is saying, is The Great Escape on telly? I'm sure it'll be on some streaming service somewhere, and I'm sure that I'll be watching it at some point. I must have me and this mate of mine who've turned up. We've monopolised the TV over the last few days, watching old Morecambe and Wise and Two Ronnies and stuff like that. over the last couple of days. So it's the wife's day on TV today. She's got a Strictly Come Dancing and all that kind of stuff that she likes to watch at Christmas. But my wife is one of these that tends to like to retire early. So it'll get to about 8:30, 9 o'clock, and she'll just say, "I'm just going to go up and read me book, love." And so off she toddles, and then that's when all the kind of Great Escape or Guns of Navarone or movies like that will tend to end up being streamed. Let's have a look. Bottleneck Bob, you started the day off with a mug of gunfire. Indeed, yes. It does really. It keeps out the cold, doesn't it, mate? Let's see what else is going on in the chat. So we've got Poo Ninja. Nice to see you, mate. In 72, I got a Daisy B gun. No, wait, that was Ralphie. Okay, I'm not sure what that's about, mate, but fair enough. Oh, Bottleneck Bob, you got the flu. Dear me, is it flu or is it man flu? I'll take your word for it because you are built from stern stuff. It has to be said, Bob. But I'm sure the gunfire will have helped with that. I remember a few years ago, my missus was laid up with a chest infection over Christmas, and I remember having to trek around town trying to find a pharmacy that was open to get the medication for it. And poor lady, it was a bit of a miserable Christmas that year for her, but she's made of tough stuff as well. But get well soon, mate. Anyway, you may have to go and have another mug to help with the flu. Well, you do right, mate. And when you're done with the gunfire, hot toddies, kind of with a bit of honey in it as well. I always find that helps. Danny Hancock saying, "I'm watching The Great Escape this afternoon. After all, it's Christmas." Yep. Maybe this year, Steve McQueen will make it over the fence on the motorbike. And it's always that moment, isn't it, when what was he called? Played the butler in Upstairs, Downstairs. The guy. I mean, played. I can't remember his name. But when the German guard says to him, "Good luck," he says, "Thank you." Oh, and that it's all those classic films. There's so many films, so many movies that I think of as Christmas movies that have got absolutely nothing to do with Christmas, but they were always on TV at Christmas time. Great Escape being one of them. Dirty Dozen, there's another. Where Eagles Dare. Broadsword Calling Danny Boy. Gordon Jackson, thank you. Thank you very much. I had it in my mind that it was Gordon somebody. I couldn't remember his surname, but yes, anyway, Broadsword Calling Danny Boy. If you don't know that reference, Broadsword Calling Danny Boy, it's watch the movie Where Eagles Dare. And every time, and there's a drinking game you can play. Every time Richard Burton fires up the radio and kind of gives his call sign, Broadsword Calling Danny Boy, every time, take a drink. You will not be sober by the end of the movie, I promise you. Zulu was always on at Christmas. Jason and the Argonauts, indeed, yes, I shall have to find that one. It's bound to be on Amazon Prime or BritBox or something. And, excuse me, chaps, I've just got to recharge my glass. Fistful of Dollars series is my holiday. Watch it again, hang on, this one's a bit lively. Get ready, everyone, over the F and the L and the A and the K and the E. This one's going to be a bit flaky. Not too bad. I seem to have rescued it, although it didn't all go in the glass. There's a little Brucey bonus in there. Die Hard as well. Again, but that is kind of a Christmas movie because it's set at Christmas. Yes, he was also in The Professionals, Ben-Hur. You see, it's Ben-Hur or Spartacus, isn't it? I was always more of a Spartacus kind of thing, I'm Spartacus, fantastic. Small flake indeed. The Wizard of Oz is always on, and The Sound of Music. Gosh, that is one I have no desire ever to see again, to be honest with you, because that was my granny's favourite film, and she was a bit weird, my grandmother. She had a collection of videotapes, but no video recorder. So she used to come round to our house to watch them. She always come round at Christmas, and after the Queen's speech, I guess it'll be the King's speech this year, won't it? After the Queen's speech, it was always time for Nana to watch her films, and The Sound of Music was always one that she'd want to watch. And so that's not one that I tend to watch. What you're saying there, mate? GRB Aquatics. Back to the guitar. Yes, this is supposed to be a guitar-themed streaming, vaguely, isn't it? Have you heard of the guitarist Dennis Tech? Was with Radio Birdman before studying to become a surgeon and Top Gun pilot. Overachiever champion. I haven't heard of him, mate, but he's one of those guys, isn't he? It sounds like one of those guys that seem to fit in many lifetimes worth of stuff in a single lifetime, as you say, overachiever. Only Fools and Horses must watch at Christmas. Yes, indeed. Yeah, and Porridge. You see, we're getting a little bit UK centric here, aren't we? We're talking about classic British TV here. There's probably many people in who are there's 141 people turning up to watch a bald, fat northern lad talking nonsense on Christmas Day. Thank you, everyone, for turning up. But I bet there's a lot of people in America saying, I don't understand these references. So, basically we're talking here about classic British TV sitcoms and stuff that, Only Fools and Horses. Did that make it international? I'm not sure. Peter Shields is saying, has anyone fallen madly in love with the music of Madison Cunningham as me? That's a new name on me, mate. And Chip Young is saying Andertons have got a PRS hollow body standard, pretty much 40% off. Anyone got or tried? I've tried a PRS hollow body, one of the SE ones. I'm presuming that's what you mean. One of my students had one, used to turn up with it every week, and it was a lovely guitar, but it was like, when you can't find anything wrong with a guitar, but it just never really kind of makes you go, wow. That was very much my experience of it. Oh, just rolling with the flow, bro. Well, that's what today's all about, isn't it? I do like it's nice to kind of reminisce about kind of child. When you get to sort of this age, kind of 50, it's nice to just reminisce and have that sort of nostalgia thing about Christmas as well, I think. But it can get you can go down a little bit of a rabbit hole with your own experiences, and I'm aware of that. So I just do like to try and kind of steer it back to vaguely guitar-related stuff from time to time. Carl Moran is saying, how cold is it there in Redcar? 31 degrees here in Lutz, Florida, USA. I can tell you exactly what the temperature is here. I'm just calling up the weather app on my phone, and this is all, I'm afraid, in Celsius, because that's the way the British measure temperatures these days. We have got 9 degrees Celsius with 28 mile an hour winds, and the feels like temperature, taking into account the wind chill, is 5 degrees Celsius. So we're 5 degrees above freezing with kind of fairly gusty kind of winds. 28 mile an hour winds, that's kind of on the high end of normal for us. So that's a kind of the state of affairs here. It's I'll have the dog out again a little bit later, probably not long after this live stream, actually. Lenny's saying, I'm in the States, but always love a Mrs. Brown's Boys Christmas. Yeah, if you like Mrs. Brown's Boys, then check out another sitcom called Father Ted. That I was watching the Christmas special of that the other night as well. Many of you who know that show will know the Christmas special. There is a scene where there's a bunch of priests get lost in the lingerie department of a big department store. They wander into the lingerie department accidentally, and they're scared that anybody will see a bunch of priests kind of hanging out there. And and it becomes almost like a pastiche of things like Full Metal Jacket and all those kind of Vietnam movies, where they're kind of sneaking around, down the aisles and whatever, looking for a way out. It's fantastic stuff. Yes, drink, Father, and careful now, indeed. Here we go. How do you play guitar when it's cold? Where was that comment? How do you cope playing the guitar when it's cold, says Hylon Cybrid. Yes, I have had a drink, haven't I? Cylon Hybrid, how do you cope playing guitar when it's cold? Well, you struggle, basically, don't you? Cold fingers, that's the one thing that all guitarists hate. When it's cold, I have been known to volunteer to do a sink full of washing up, to wash the dishes, just to get some warmth back into my hands. It's I remember seeing a live performance on TV of a band from this part of the world, actually, Lindisfarne, and it was an outdoor performance, and it was clearly a cold day. You could see the steam from the mouths and what have you, and both the guitarists were wearing those fingerless gloves, so maybe that can help. I don't know. Let's see, we've got some new comments. Dr. Gomez, I used to run warm water over my fingers. It seems I'm not alone in being a Father Ted aficionado. Malcolm Spillett. Since last live, I've had a new guitar day, and I'm the proud owner of a Sire Larry Carlton H7. I hope you like it, mate. I absolutely love mine. I don't play it that often, and when I'm looking around the room for guitars that need to, get culled and make an exit, that's always the thing. I don't play that very often, and then I'll pick it up and think, yeah, but it's still too nice to sell. Ian Clark, I have an electronic hand warmer. Well, fair enough, mate. Joe Satriani, Joe Satch said he avoids washing too many dishes to keep his fingertips hard. Yeah, that's not something that I never seem to lose the finger calluses myself. It's just one of those things. Oh yes. I got to tell you, we've had a death in the family, I'm afraid. The Yamato guitar, the Yamato Japanese Les Paul copy from the early 70s. You've watched your last video with that one, I'm afraid. The other day, I was thinking, let's upgrade the pickups. And got the old pickups out, no problem. And I have a set of Vansons here that we're going to drop into it perfectly. It was all going too well. Do you know what I mean? You think something's going to go wrong here. And what went wrong was the holes. From the sort of neck pickup cavity, the hole where the wire has to go through to go into the bridge pickup cavity and into the control cavity. Yeah, the wire wouldn't fit. Basically, I had to kind of try and widen that hole, and in doing so, there was a drill involved, and yeah, basically, it just all ended rather badly, I'm afraid. Um, I've even got the kind of the thing so you can kind of drill at an angle, but just the cheap, not very kind of good in the first place. It has to be said, plywood that the guitar was made from. Imagine what would happen if you tried drilling into a meringue. That is pretty much what happened when I tried drilling into the plywood to widen this hole, and just basically the entire body. It was like it was like watching a sinkhole kind of happen, and I'm afraid that I'm sure there with people, if someone with kind of more Lutherian woodworking skills than I possess could have rescued it, but I just thought, you know what, this guitar is done being a guitar. It's telling me that it is no longer happy being a guitar, and you just kind of admit defeat. We got one good tune out of it. We got the one good kind of mix out of it where I was using it, and it sounded pretty good. So that is, I'm afraid, the end of the road for the Yamato guitar. It is now off to the local recycling centre, I'm afraid. So yeah, that's a sad loss. But I am going to continue the project with another guitar. Uh, it was just firewood to begin with, indeed. Rest well, Yamato. Should have filmed it. Yeah, I should have, but it was like, just one of those things that you after the fact you think, well, yeah, okay. Should have captured that for posterity. But, maybe, I don't know. But I am going to continue the project with another guitar. I am on the lookout. I am on the scout around for either a Woolworths Top 20, which was my first ever guitar, or a satellite Les Paul copy, or any of the guitars that I mentioned in that 5 awful guitars video that I did a few weeks ago. As soon as I can find one that isn't ridiculously priced, because these things these days seem to have acquired something of a retro cool vibe, and the prices have risen accordingly. As soon as I can find one that is reasonably priced, I'm going to jump on it, and we're going to continue the series from there with like an understudy with the role of the 70s. Cheap guitar will be recast as either a Hondo Rainbow, a satellite Les Paul copy, a Woolworths Top 20, or any of those guitars. So watch this space. I'll keep you in the loop. Anton saying, you actually look genuinely quite sad about the loss, John. I am actually, because it's like, it's a bit of a, nobody likes being defeated by something. I did think about, kind of, can I chisel out the knackered wood and reinsert, some kind of better wood into there. But basically what had happened, like there was like a sort of like it felt like a laminated plastic top on it that had kind of crumpled as well. I think that the heat from the drill, caused by the friction of the drilling into something with the consistency of meringue, funnily enough, had kind of caused that to bubble a bit as well. And it was just, oh, hello, I see. We've got the bots in the chat. Ignore them, everyone. The more you interact with them, the more you encourage them. So just ignore them. All that work down the crap. Sometimes it's like that, Michael. But you know what? I enjoyed the process. Let's have a look. Comment up there. GRB Aquatics. Anyone ever had an Ibanez Geo? Got one local, well priced. I've never had one, but it's the thing with budget guitars these days. It's a question of, as long as you manage your expectations and think, well, I might have to do a bit of setup work on it, they're not bad. They're not going to be as awful as the kind of budget guitars of yesteryear. And, file off a few sharp fret ends and set the intonation and sort the action out, you're generally okay. Can you do a video on the Marlin Sidewinder as a horror flick? Lots of blood loss through fret cuts. I could indeed do that. Yeah, I had a guy kind of berate me slightly in the chat, in the comments on that video I did where I was slagging off the Marlin Sidewinder, and he's saying, "I've got one and it's brilliant. All I've done is replaced all of the electronics, replaced the bridge, replaced the, refretted it with Evo gold fret wire, and replaced the tuners." It's like, well, okay, yeah. So it was a great guitar once you replace kind of 90% of it. I think that kind of makes my point a little bit, doesn't it? What about building a kit guitar, John? Funny you should mention that. Yes, indeed. That is one of the projects I keep promising I'm going to do, but after seeing, I don't know if you've seen that video where Trev Wilkinson builds one of his kit guitars that's available from, is it scan.co.uk or wherever? But those Wilkinson guitar kits do look really, really well put together, and I'm definitely going to get my hands on one of those. There's a workbench over there now, which is full of kind of rubbish and detritus at the moment, but yeah. What I'm going to do, though, before I get into kind of doing that sort of thing, it's difficult for me to film stuff that's on the workbench, so I'm going to rig up some kind of camera rig, so I've got an overhead camera so you can see what I'm doing. Any New Year's resolutions, chaps? Mine is to manage the fourth chord. John, like the film Christine? I don't know that. Yes, triggers broom indeed. Let's have a look. Let's see what we got. Yeah, there's a few comments there that I really don't have a clue what's going on. Nick Milner is saying, listening in and peeling my spuds. Happy Christmas, John. Well, happy Christmas to you, mate. I thought about a kit guitar, but I have fists of ham and fingers of butter. Yeah, the thing is, though, if you can manage, even a most rudimentary flat pack, furniture, like the desk I'm speaking on to you now, I built this desk in the same way that I will be building a guitar. A kit of pre-assembled parts that just need screwing together. I think we can manage that. What the hell is all of this in the chat? I honestly, when you see stuff in the chat and you think, is that spam or is that just somebody being cryptic? I can't tell you. Anyway, chaps, it's been a blast, and what can I tell you? What goes in has to come out. So I'm kind of getting a little bit antsy here, so I'm going to wrap things up for today. It's a little bit early, but we've had fun, and I'll let you all get back to whatever Christmas celebrations you're indulging in, and I'm going to go and get back to mine. Thank you. 140 or so of you turning up to watch, as I say, a fat, bald northern lad with a double chin and a beer gut talking absolute nonsense for an hour full of beer on a Christmas day. It's been a blast, and we'll keep on doing it. Let's make this a little bit of a Christmas tradition, and I'll see you all on the next one. Next video, as I say, is Monday the 2nd of January. I'll see you all for that. But until then, have a very massively Merry Christmas, everyone. But time, gentlemen, please.